Okay, what's going on? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you guys are in the world. I'm between moving houses right now, potentially. I'm still in my current house, but if any of you guys have ever sold your house or moved, you know you got to be out of your house for like 15 hours because you got to keep your house immaculate while there's viewings and all that fun stuff. But I had no idea what video to make this week. Until yesterday, at least, I was packing up my whole bag, trying to take everything with me, all the things that I do to make YouTube videos pretty much, alongside just to sort of stay connected on the go. Now, I typically have very minimal EDCs when I'm out and about, really. But this time around, my EDC is actually pretty, I don't know, substantial, I guess. So I figured, hey, I don't know what sort of video to make this week, but I could talk about all the stuff I'm packing with me, sort of this springtime / going into the summer, what comes with me in my bag. The first thing, of course, I want to jump into is my iPhone 17e, which was actually the last video that I made on this channel. And I literally just got this thing to replace my iPhone 13 mini, which sort of makes me sad. I absolutely have this infatuation with the 13 mini because it's so flippin' small. I love the tiny size of my 13 mini. And while all the other iPhones are incredible, I've had the chance to check out, the 17 Pro, the iPhone Air and all that. I love this 13 mini. And believe it or not, despite, not being as thin as the iPhone Air, the 17e weighs about the same as the iPhone Air. It's not much heavier than my 13 mini, but it is the smallest modern iPhone Apple makes. So the 13 mini has been my new phone, actually, for my daily driver. Now, it's not the best iPhone. I guess technically on paper, it's the worst iPhone of this year, at least. But it's fine. For me, honestly, it does everything I need, and it really is a solid all-around device. For what I personally do, it's honestly just a super reliable iPhone. It is still super powerful with the A19 chip, and they did bring MagSafe into this thing this year, which I absolutely adore, because I am an absolute nutcase when it comes down to anything magnets. Even if a phone doesn't have magnets, I will put a magnetic sticker on it so it has magnets. And the 17e has just been a solid upgrade for me, at least for my 13 mini. And the funny thing is, the best thing I can say about this thing is that it's actually boring. It's just straight up functional. And I don't feel overly reliant, I guess I should say, on my 17 mini versus if I were using a 17 Pro or something. If that makes any sense. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm not insanely reliant on my 17e. It honestly feels like I'm hitting Unkstas with my phone because I bought it specifically for its utilitarian purposes. So yeah, 17e is a great device. The second thing I want to talk about is something that I've really fallen in love with, and that is my Snowsky Disc. It feels like this is the year where single-use tech is sort of making a comeback. I'm not sure if it's a good thing or a bad thing, because a lot of people are performative about this. They'll buy an MP3 player, parade it online for a bit, and then they don't actually use it. But that's not actually the case for me, because I'm an absolute nut job when it comes down to how much I love music. This is my true first high fidelity player, and I collect all my music on CDs and vinyls. I truly love the whole full album experience. And this is just one of those pieces of tech where I can sort of get away from playlists. I love playlists, and I talk about Apple Music and Spotify all the time. I love them. I don't hate them whatsoever. This is just sort of a different thing when it comes down to music, where I'm not, sort of relying on any sort of algorithms. I'm not just blasting through a playlist on shuffle. There's a bit of a difference when you're listening to a full album front to back, and I truly love it. The artists sometimes have a story throughout the album. There's the ebbs and flows of the emotions within the album, and this truly makes me sound like a pretentious douchebag, but that's why I love listening to full albums. And of course, you could still do that on Apple Music, Spotify, whatever, but I really love just having sort of this single-use player. Plus, I use a lot of dumb phones because I'm just, again, that corny-ass dude who likes using weird tech, and this Snowsky Disc ends up being an incredible option when it comes down to media. But yeah, as much as it makes me sound and look like a pretentious douchebag, I really love this thing. There's the look of it, the feel of it, the aesthetic. It's tiny. The whole disc animation on here when the music's playing looks pretty sweet. Plus, with this, of course, you can plug in different sets of audio hardware if you want to, but this does still do Bluetooth and stuff, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, if I want to use my AirPods or nothing headphones, it's easy enough to just connect it to that, and I'm still playing my music wirelessly. Now, I want to talk about my audio setup that I use when I'm on the go, but quickly, I do want to give a huge thanks to SpeakON for sponsoring this portion of today's video. For myself, at least, as both an accountant and a creator, I'm always trying to sort of find ways to work and communicate more efficiently, and I have been testing out their new voice interaction device. This is something that's unique, where if you feel like your brain moves a little bit faster than your fingers, for example, this is definitely a step up, since it actually is a dedicated piece of hardware that can sort of help remove friction from typing. And it actually turns your natural speech into structured text directly into whatever app you're using, which is pretty awesome. For myself, while I don't actually script my videos, I do talk naturally typically with Siri, which can make a lot of mistakes. And that's where I sort of list out my ideas for my videos frequently. What's kind of wild is the smart polish feature, which does allow me to sort of brain dump all my ideas while I'm walking or multitasking, even driving. And it automatically removes all the ums and ahs and repetitions. And it does end up leaving me with a clean, intentional message that's pretty much ready to go. And naturally as well, you might speak differently for your work, your socials, or even messaging, of course. So the SpeakON Attune feature does allow you to speak naturally. And Attune will capture your spoken word as formal for those emails, professional for work, casual for something like WhatsApp or social medias, whatever apps of your choosing, which is pretty awesome. If you do want to check out the SpeakON, I will have a link down below. And thanks again to SpeakON for sponsoring this portion of today's video. But getting back to my audio devices, there are two primary ones, and these will shift a lot because I'm a bit of a Sony fanboy when it comes down to sort of audio headphones and stuff. But I've been using my Nothing Headphone 1s. Where are they? They're in my bag, actually. My Nothing Headphone 1s I've been using a lot. I started traveling quite a bit more since February, and I just picked up the Nothing 1s on a whim to sort of use on the go. And I sort of fell in love with them because they're one of the few brands that actually lean into tactile buttons and switches and dials. And I flip and miss that. A lot of tech nowadays has a lot of capacitive touches and holds and 3-finger gestures, and it's like, those are fine. They're great, honestly, but dials, switches, buttons, there's nothing like them. I love them. The Nothing 1s, they allow you to go forward, backwards on your song. You sort of feel a haptic click that's not real, but it's there still when you change your volume. And I just love the way they look, to be honest. And they actually sound really flippin' good. So I don't even know what the app is called. I think it's like Nothing X or something. You can swap your EQ to your specific liking. And they did a pretty damn good job on like the auto EQ settings for myself. So I love my Nothing Headphone 1s for that. Plus, surprisingly, the active noise cancellation is really good. And they don't give me a headache like some headphones, which is a sweet bonus. And separately from the Nothing headphones, I like to use my AirPod Pro 3s, which have the most absurd active noise canceling I've ever used. And I can't say it's better than my Nothing Headphone 1s, but I do use my AirPod Pros just for the times I literally just don't want to wear a headset. Sometimes I hate the feeling of earbuds in, so I'll use my Nothings. And sometimes I just hate the feeling of a headset, so I'll swap to my buds. And both are fantastic. Plus the AirPod Pro 3s do sound incredible. And there's the whole continuity between my iPad, my Mac, my phone. Works perfectly. Speaking of which, when I'm on the go, when it comes down to, I guess, my editing powerhouse, I use the M4 MacBook Air. The M4 MacBook Air is an incredible piece of tech for anybody doing a little bit more intensive workflows, I guess. Of course, there's the new MacBook Neo, which is incredible. But for, different projects and such, the M4 MacBook Air has done an incredible job for me. The M4 MacBook Air is surprisingly powerful. The M4 chip in there has done a great job. My only mistake, I wouldn't call it a downside to this machine because I'm the one who bought it and chose 256 gigs of storage on my M4 Air is definitely not enough. Even if I'm storing temporary files for projects, I have to carry an SSD with me. And we all know how expensive SSDs are getting right now. But if you can swing it, make sure you up the storage. I personally would need at least a terabyte. So yeah, apart from the storage, the M4 Air for me is almost perfect, and it still handles my projects even as they get longer with all the effects and layers and stuff. It's an incredible machine. Plus it is super compact. I did end up going with a 13-inch. I found the 15 to be a little bit too large, but yeah, it's small, it's sleek, it's powerful as heck, and it does everything I need, and I love my M4 MacBook Air. And for the times I want to be a little less productive, I've been using my Switch 2 a lot. I hated the Switch 2 when I bought it, and I tried to return it. I just did not like it. And I've talked about this a ton. It's just honestly because it came with Mario Kart. I didn't care for it. I love Mario Kart now, but the Switch 2, while I hated it, I absolutely love it now. And I want to make more videos about my Switch 2. I just don't want to make you guys bored by talking about the Switch 2 so much, but I just love that console so much. And because I'm not home, I'm not, able to access my gaming PCs. I can't really sit and vibe out on my PlayStation and Xbox. My Switch 2 has been my primary way of gaming, which is by far the best way I personally decompress and relax at the end of a long day, is playing some games. So for myself, recently I've been still getting my way through Hogwarts Legacy for the second time. Incredible game. Cyberpunk 2077, Donkey Kong Bonanza, and yes, Mario Kart is actually a pretty good time. And the Switch 2's performance, I'm just infatuated with this device. They did such a good job with the Switch 2. I heard it got a price bump recently, which flipping sucks, dude. But look, if you're thinking about getting the Switch 2, as somebody who hasn't really dove deep into the Nintendo ecosystem, they did a damn good job with the Switch 2, and I am in love. And that's why it makes it into my backpack, and it's been amazing. The next piece of tech I've got to talk about is my iPad Mini 7, which is by far the best iPad they've ever made. Everybody knows this. The iPad Mini is the best iPad, mainly because it's only trying to be a flippin' iPad. It's not trying to be a computer replacement. It's not trying to do some super editing powerhouse on the go that's small. It's like, that's sweet. Funny enough, it can still do that stuff, but it's the only tablet just trying to be a tablet. And I love the iPad Mini for media, for note-taking, for pretty much everything. It comes with me to the office when I'm working during the day. I do all my note taking for calls. I watch media in bed. I play games. Everything. It's just a piece of tech that I absolutely adore. For the times I'm not using my iPhone, the iPad mini is the piece of tech that I use to access the modern age for banking and two-factor authentication, all that fun stuff. It's just such a functional piece of tech. And again, while you can use an 11-inch or a 10.9-inch iPad or whatever to be a tablet, just a tablet, I don't think it's quite the same vibe as just having a small, tiny tablet that's meant to be a nice compact tablet. That's sort of repetitive, but I just love it that much for that specific reason. And the iPad mini 7 is an absolute gem of a piece of tech. It's been out for like, I don't know, 2 or 3 years at this point. So I'm actually looking forward to a refresh if they have like an OLED screen or whatever. We'll see. But man, on the next iPad mini, I'm definitely going to be buying that immediately. The next thing is not really a piece of tech, but it's actually a foldable tripod I take with me all the time. It is MagSafe, so it does stick to my phone, but I don't always have it on my phone. I'll have it in my bag. I'll have it in my pocket. They're foldable, flippable tripod wallet. I love this because I use this a lot when it comes down to content creation. Whenever I'm testing a new phone, I slap this on it because I love to film content, take photos, or otherwise just prop it up and just, watch media and all that stuff. And that little tripod's sick. There's a reason why you see a lot of people talk about that little tiny tripod online. And they recently added Find My to it, which is pretty sweet. So if you lose it, you can track it. And of course, naturally, it holds a couple cards. So for the times I am holding just, 2 cards on the go, I do have more minimal EDC. I can flip 2 cards in there and it's still just super functional. That's what it is. I love items that lean into the opposite of being gimmick, and that's what that product is. So I really dig it. That's why I talk about it all the time, because it's actually useful as heck. Now for the days I'm not just carrying 2 cards on the go, I'm using this wallet I made personally with my own 2 hands 6 or 7 years ago at this point, and it's still kicking. For me at least, nothing beats an item that you've been able to craft with your own 2 hands. And before my YouTube days, my whole creative itch was leatherworking. And I hope to go back to it one day, but this wallet I made, it has a dope little money clip. It has this little thumb push section for getting my cards out. And it just looks and smells incredible being natural Italian leather. Not that anybody would even know or care, but I imported this leather from this tannery in Italy called Badalassi Carlo. And I played around with a lot of materials and leathers, but this Italian leather is just the best. For me at least. And when this wallet dies, I will be trying to make another one, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I really do love this wallet I made. It has a sort of emotional attachment, and it is really functional. What I plan to do eventually is to make a new wristband for my Apple Watch. I think this is an Apple Watch 4, 5? Oh, wow, this is a Series 9. It feels old. This is a Series 9, and I had an Apple Watch Ultra 2 not too long ago. But I found like it was too much, and my Apple Watch Series 9 still worked perfectly fine, so I didn't have any need to really replace it. So I had buyer's remorse, ended up returning my Ultra 2, but it's fine. I really just use this as a watch, frankly, so I'm probably not going to use it that much longer if it dies. I might not buy another Apple Watch. As much as I love the sleep and fitness tracking, I don't want myself to be reliant on sleep or fitness tracking. Just sleep better and move your flipping body, and I want those things to count without me wanting it to count because my watch says it counts, if that makes sense. But yeah, I really do like my Apple Watch Series 9. If anybody out there is into watches, when I do drop my Apple Watch, give me some watch suggestions. I'm not trying to blow the bank, but I want a solid, cool watch that I can sort of lean into, because I think I might be becoming a watch guy potentially. I don't know, I'm gonna zoom in here so you can see this. I've been using this sort of BlackBerry device. This is the Titan 2 Elite from Unihertz, and it's bringing back the QWERTY keyboard on phones. If anybody remembers the BlackBerry Classic or the BlackBerry Bold, your back and knees probably hurt, but that thing is flipping sick. I have been really enjoying this device, and I do have a review coming soon, but I just wasn't expecting this to be as good as it is. Like, I was excited for it and all that stuff. They sent out a review unit, so thank you, Unihertz. I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it is. It was pleasantly surprising. This thing has like 120 hertz OLED screen. The chipset is actually pretty damn fast. And the keyboard is, again, while I don't really have the muscle memory like I did 15, 20 years ago, the keyboard on here, I'm slowly getting faster. And I really love unique tech, as you can tell, between like my Snowsky and a lot of the dumb phones I use. When I'm not using an iPhone, I'm using a dumb phone. And this will be my main phone, I think, as of next week. And I'm going to be doing a full review on it. But I flippin' love that thing. And since my retro handheld is currently packed up, since I'll be moving, I've been using this as my sort of handheld gaming device. And I don't know why I underestimated playing a Pokemon Nuzlocke run, because I've gotten dusted and had to restart like 3 times. I gotta respect the Nuzlocke, man. If anybody has a tip for a solid Nuzlocke, if you guys know what that is for Pokemon games, man, It is harder than I thought it would be. But yeah, on this device, surprisingly good experience. The last primary thing I want to talk about is my Fuji X100 camera, because I am infatuated with this camera. Because I use a lot of dumb phones and stuff, they typically have some pretty shitty cameras. Not all of them, but some of them do. And it's sort of made me really lean into using my X100 camera for both photo and video quite a lot more. Now, this is my favorite camera of all time. I could lose all the other cameras that I film on, and despite this one being worse than those, but still incredible, this is the camera I would keep. If anybody knows anything about the X100 and the hype behind it, it's sort of viral online because of its film simulations, and people love it, so other people want to love it and get it, and you can't get it, so it gets more hype. I bought the X100 for video specifically, which is weird because it's more of a photocentric camera, and it's weird, but the camera is so flippin' small and minimal, but it has incredible specs. So it has in-body image stabilization, so handheld video still looks great. It has a built-in ND filter. It has the f2.0 aperture, which is great in low light, shallow depth of field. And yes, it does have all those film simulations. It does 4K, it has a good range of resolution, slow motion, it has all these things in a tiny compact body. And even if I wanted to recreate this camera, you can get close with like the XE5 or whatever, but it's not quite the same as being as small as it is. And I love the X100 for that reason. The fixed lens on there does sort of put me into a little bit of a box creatively, which is what's sort of charming about it. Because if I want to get an interchangeable lens camera, you can do that and just zoom yourself away. But when you have the fixed lens, it makes you just think a little bit more creatively, and I really dig that. Or I'm a pretentious douchebag, yet again, I don't know. But I love the X100 for that reason, and I specifically bought it for video, which is kind of weird. And the last two things I want to talk about, because this video is probably getting pretty long at this point, is my Anker power bank. Honestly, this thing is just fat. It's still approved by TSA for airports and all that stuff, but I'm on the go. I gotta charge all this stuff, my iPad, my MacBook, my Switch, my phones. Everything gets charged through this Anker power bank. It got this cute little screen on the front. I can charge 2 to 3 devices at the same time. It's just, again, functional. It's not a gimmick, and I really dig it. And then the last thing where all this goes into is my small ass Brevite bag. This bag, I swear, if I broke this bag, if it tore, if anything happened to this bag, I would have another one on order, because it just fits everything, but it's still compact at the same time. It's got all the pockets. It's got the camera inserts. It's got multiple areas to keep my tech safe. Absolutely incredible bag. And I think when this one goes, I'm gonna buy another one and just use this bag for the rest of my life over and over again, because I love that bag this much. But yeah, if you guys stuck out to the end of this long ass video, I really appreciate your time, guys. That is my non-minimal, it's my Maxamilist EDC, and this is all the stuff that I pack with me because I'm out of my house for like 15 hours a day right now. And this gets me by between my accounting work, if I do want a game, I'm vibing out with my kids, if I'm working on YouTube videos, this does it all. And yeah, I will have it all linked down below if you do want to check it out. And I appreciate you guys watching to the end. Until next time.